Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Billion Dollar Movie Club. This is a show where we look at movies. They made a lot of money and we go, huh? I watched this movie back in theaters
I
and told
didn't.
myself I will never watch this movie again. And yet, here we are.
I thought I was never going to watch this movie, but here we are
Here we are. Who are we and
once
who's the
again.
here? Who's the
I'm
here?
torn into pieces.
This is how I feel. I'm torn and I'm lying naked on the floor.
All right, we are here. We are talking about a movie
I
called
am
Star Wars.
Introduce yourself, please.
My name is Pawan.
I am Christian. I am Christian.
But Christian, what is your family name?
Oh, important question.
Well, you got an answer for me?
Hold on, I'm looking at the dead people far away first. They're
If you
staring at
can't
me.
find it, then we could sequel tease so that we could find it. We're gonna find it.
The dead people looked at me and they told me to say Masinsin.
Okay.
Paul, what movie did we watch for this week?
We saw Star Wars, the ending of the Skywalker saga. The 8 movies of buildup, apparently.
Nine if you want to count the Clone Wars movie, and then there's like an Ewok TV movie that you maybe
This
could count
movie
there.
doesn't count those.
But Juan, this movie doesn't count Last Jedi.
Well, it counts in terms of number, at least.
What's the
We're
name of
talking
this
about
movie?
Rise of Skywalker, baby.
Star Wars.
Hey.
You
know what I will say?
Yes.
Is I might have been a little bit harsh on J.J. Abrams before. In light of this movie, I have been too hard on him because seeing how low this movie falls, it makes me appreciate his other work more. And that's a bit of a spoiler for our review.
This happened with the Marvel movie too, didn't it?
I'm pretty sure it did, yeah.
I think it was you watched Captain Marvel and then you were like, oh, I was too hard on those other Marvel movies. Directed by J.J. Abrams himself with a budget of $275 million, one of the most expensive films of all time. This movie was released in the U.S. on December 20th, 2019. And its opening weekend, it grossed $177 million.
One can say this was the final movie ever released in theaters. That matters.
Go on. Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, did that make $1 billion?
Oh no, you didn't say the final movie that made $1 billion. Final movie that mattered.
Do other movies matter? We're talking about the $1 billion movie club.
Juan, all movies matter.
Listen, once they make $1 billion, then they can murder the other movies, and then they matter.
Oh my goodness. Well, once again, $177 million is opening weekend. The 12th highest grossing opening weekend of all time, and 3rd highest grossing December weekend of all time, behind, you guessed it, 2 other Star Wars movies.
Behind Ants.
Is that a December release?
I just felt like saying
that. I know you're a huge Woody Allen fan, Vaughn. Rise of Skywalker would be number 1 for 3 weekends until it was dethroned by 1917. Paul, we talk about movies all the time, and movies with numbers, and this is a movie with 8 numbers.
At that point, that movie doesn't even have a title. It just has 4 numbers.
It's 1917.
Where's the title?
It's 1917-2019.
No, it's just 1917. There's the 4 numbers already checked off. So, like, where's the title?
Oh, so is it only reserved for the first 4 numbers in the movie title?
In this case, yes, because I decided it so.
What about? I can't think of a movie. What's a movie like 1,000 in it?
So let's hit me with that article. Hit me with that article.
I'm not hitting you with an article. I'm hitting you with a date. January 15, 2020. Not an article, but a headline from Rebecca Rubin. Fuck, I think it was Variety. I would like to credit this correctly.
Terrible work. Shoddy
Variety.
craftsmanship.
January 5th. Say that word once more.
Shoddy craftsmanship.
5 times more,
Simpsons
please.
Craftsmanship. 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 This is getting boring. Keep going.
January 15, 2020, from Variety, Rebecca Rubin. Star Wars Rise of Skywalker hits $1 billion globally.
Want to say that one 5 times?
Globally. Star Wars Rise of Skywalker hits $1 billion globally, but trails predecessors.
Damn, even throwing shade on it during its own congratulations.
Quite the slap. The film would go on to gross $515 million domestically and $1.074 billion worldwide. It is the 14th highest grossing film domestic and 32nd highest grossing film worldwide. Pawan?
Before we get into it, I just want to
Ooh.
add that article, the way that line was written, it really is giving like dad who's disappointed in the youngest child. It's like, why aren't you reaching the lengths?
Oh, it sounds like it's an Asian parent describing their child's accomplishments.
Exactly.
Pawan.
Mm-hmm.
This is not the first, but the second franchise to rise in this podcast. How did this movie rise?
It rose kicking and screaming into the night.
Into the Night, my favorite song from Frozen 2.
So we start with Kylo Ren doing his impersonation of Peter Quill at the beginning of the Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Sure.
And then he grabs a triangular prism, which will be given significance later. Does it really matter? Who knows? And then Rey's gets and then the dudes are in the Millennium Falcon and they do light skipping. They skip the pebble runs, and then it's like, oh, you're still as reckless as ever. And then he's like, oh yeah, well, you're just sitting here doing nothing, Rey. Which, to be fair, Rey, you can help out a little bit. All right, you can help out a little bit. So then they go on a mission, and then Rey keeps going off on her own, and then Finn keeps screaming Rey, and then after a certain point, Kylo Ren's like, I don't want to be bad anymore. I want to be a Ben man. And then he becomes Ben man. And then, oh, right, Palpatine, I'll quote specifically from the movie, somehow Palpatine has returned. Somehow. So he's here, and he's like, oh, I'm here to connect all the universes. I mean, all the movies in this franchise. And then he's like, you got to fulfill your destiny, Rey. And then Rey does the thing he wanted her to do, but it's fine somehow. I'm kind of lost on that part. You might need to elucidate me on how that worked. But yeah, and then it ends with her visiting Luke's old house, and then someone pulls up and is like, what's your name? And she's like, I'm Rey. And then the person's like, what's your family name? And then she's like, Skywalker. And then it's the credits.
Pawan, you forgot to mention that she was asked the same question
5 other
half
times.
hour into the movie. Yeah. Let me paint you a picture, all right?
I love how like that. There was also that conversation like at the end with Lando when he was talking to like one of the people. I love how that's just a way to introduce yourself in this universe, at least in the world of this movie. It's like, hi, my name is this. You specifically give first name because that's the normal thing to do, right? And then the other person hits you with, not what's your name, what's your sign, what's your family.
Pawan, let me paint you a picture.
It's like, what's your name? What's your family name? Because everyone knows family is important.
Pawan.
But only
we've
names. We've
discussed the Fast and Furious franchise and
yeah,
established
but that's found family.
It's yes.
This isn't about found family. This is about just lineage, which is, if anything, this is less family than the found family in that.
Well, Pawan, Fast 9, we meet Vin's brother, John Cena, not in the club. Not in
There
the
you go.
club.
That tells. See, Fast knows. Knows.
Let me paint you a picture.
All right.
February 2020. Me, I'm like, oh, Oscars are coming up. Let me cross off whatever movies I can, right? I love me the pictures. I love me catching up in for the season.
What
And I
about the
go,
movies?
well,
I get you look at pictures, but do you look at movies as well?
come on.
Do the pictures move?
A movie is many pictures.
Yeah,
Very fast,
but
like a
see, the
flip
thing
book.
is, you said you just look at pictures. Are the pictures moving? Is my question.
Yes, because there's a person inside a booth who puts a picture in front of a camera and he moves them really fast,
Oh, it's
really
it's like
fast.
one of those things where it's like you hold it to your face and there's the notch on the side to like move
Yeah,
the. Ah,
yeah, yeah.
they must have some really big ones of those to fit that many pictures.
So I go, for some reason, life's hard. I missed Rise of Skywalker when it first came out.
Oh, you
It's 2
did.
months. Yeah,
You
in
didn't see it in
December,
theaters.
of 2019, I missed it.
Mhm.
In February of 2020, I'm catching up on my movies. I say, let's watch it in theaters. Because probably if I enjoy this, I'm going to enjoy it in a theater rather than at home, right? That makes sense with a big budget blockbuster, right?
Sure, sure, sure.
So I go to the movie. There's maybe 5 of us in the theater. And Pawan,
Mhm.
a year and a half later, we start up this movie again. And I'm like, whoa, what the fuck happens in this movie? Before I blocked it all out. I do not like this movie, Pawan.
I love how this movie. I didn't even talk about this in the synopsis. I love how this movie doesn't actually let you sit with the weight of anything because it's so scared you'll be upset that it has to be like, no, no, don't worry about it. It's fine.
Oh, you mean when they killed Chewbacca and then the next scene revealed that he's still alive?
And that was the only purpose of
Which
that scene.
that's the one moment I remember from watching this in theaters. Cause I sit there, I see it happen. I'm like, whoa, they killed Chewbacca? How did I not hear about this? And then 2 seconds later, it's like, oh no, he's still alive.
And there was
This
no other purpose to that scene of
and watching
revealing
it
that he was
again,
alive.
I'm very confused. What the fuck happened in that scene that he's alive? Were there
There
two
was another.
ships?
There was another ship hidden somewhere. There's a
But
lot
we
of like things that you're just told to understand or just like move past.
Pawn. She had a vision of the Sith throne, and Kylo was sitting on it,
But
and
she had
she was
another vision
too.
where she had shark teeth.
Shark teeth. Ooh ah ah. Ah, fuck this movie. I
You know,
really,
you know
I
what
really
Finn was
wonder.
giving in this movie?
Nothing.
Finn was giving Nagini from
The second Fantastic Beast.
yes. Where he was just like, you know what? I don't want anything else than to stand next to this person.
He really was just like an accessory to Rey in this movie.
You know what I will say about what this movie taught me about Finn? Very little object permanence.
Go on.
Because like it establishes at the end of Last Jedi that he has this thing going with Rose, right? But Rose couldn't join them on the mission. So he completely forgets that she exists. And then now that Rey's the only girl that's there for him, he's like, oh, it's all about Rey now. I got to pay attention to Rey. It's all about Rey. But then this other woman shows up and he spends time with her instead. And now it's all about her.
Pawn.
Very
Finn
little
was
object permanence. He just
Pawn.
goes after the first woman he sees.
Well, let's put it this way. Pawn, how old do you think Finn is? Like 20 something? 20, 24 maybe?
The question I have.
No. 24 maybe? Do we think he's 24?
Sure. 24,
Anyway,
25.
he was a stormtrooper for like 23 years before that. My boy, he has needs.
Listen, what I will say
He's
in this
desperate.
case, in that case, is this implying that maybe he had some sort of edible complex with Captain Phasma. Like, what was going on there?
Which I said in this movie, I'm like, wait, did they kill Captain Phasma in the last movie?
Yeah, you don't
I
remember
forgot.
that?
I forgot. I do remember now. But the moment I thought for a second they were gonna show her. But yeah, the Finn character.
And I love how the the previous movie sets up Domhnall Gleeson to be like a nice foil for Kylo, so that the whole order itself is also kind of imploding. And then in this movie, he does one thing, and then he's immediately murdered, and then replaced with someone we know nothing about.
That was annoying. And I love Richard E. Grant. He was wonderful in Can You Ever Forgive Me? And this was his follow up to it. He looks like he's having a blast in this movie. And thankfully someone was having a blast in this movie. The Hux character is so weird because he was always such a bitch.
That was see, that's what I liked about the First
Yeah.
Order in this trilogy. It was made up of bitches. Like
They're
Kylo Ren is a bitch.
They're very insecure, and that's why they're fighting so hard.
Yeah.
And
that's why they gotta wave around their big laser dicks and like destroy planets with it. It's like, look at my massive dong.
I
Please
fucking
respect me.
cracked up when he shot the stormtrooper. He's like, I'm the spy. Well, I'm like, whoa. I wasn't wondering who's the spy. I had no reason to question why there was a spy.
Well, they raised that question earlier. It's like, we have a spy in our midst. By the way, so was that a meeting of the Knights of Ren? And like Domhnall Gleeson was there for some reason. I remember like
What?
him saying that at some point at that table meeting.
Where Kylo force chokes a dude?
Yeah.
I guess. What the fuck are the Knights of Ren? No, I'll be honest.
They,
Because
were important for some reason.
Were they? As someone who watched multiple of these movies in theaters and have seen them multiple times since, that's a phrase I know people on the internet always bring up. But who the fuck are they?
Well, it was kind of like briefly established in 8, where it's like, oh, the people who went with Kylo after he destroyed the Jedi temple that he was learning at or whatever.
Okay.
You know what I will say about the Knights of Ren is that I like to imagine that it's just the boys. It's just the boys. It's his gang. It's his group of friends.
That's obviously his boys.
Yeah, but like
he cracks cold one with them all the time.
Like there was that one establishing shot where they're like at the cliff of a mountain. They're all just standing facing the horizon, and it's just like a fucking pan across, and it's this epic shot where they're just standing and looking. I like to imagine like that's just what they do at their free time. They're just like, yo, I saw this cliff over on that planet. Yo, we should check it out and just hang.
Wouldn't you do that if there was?
I mean, no, I'm saying this is the positive. This is what I like to imagine the Knights of Ren are. Like that's just all they're for.
A positive part of this movie, it made me imagine about better things. And you know what's the weirdest part about this movie? Because I think it happened the first time I watched it too. I'm watching it. It's about to end. I know the ending. And there's a part of me that doesn't want it to end. Because I don't want this to be how it ends. As someone who really enjoys the Rey and Finn characters and enjoys episode 7 and episode 8, it feels like such a slap in the face of an ending.
Yeah. And you know what? I have to come back to that line. Somehow Palpatine has returned.
Pawan, you didn't play Fortnite? You have to get the full Skywalker experience.
I forgot. Yes.
Full Skywalker experience.
Fortnite is now part of the Star Wars canon.
God. And
like the thing is, I get that you have to put some establishing stuff in the opening crawl because that's what it's for. But like the thing is, it's supposed to be used for like just establishing exposition in terms of like just where they're at right now. Just keep catching us up with what's going on. Not huge plot points.
That would be a big. I don't remember what I was watching that described this, but it is someone on the interwebs podcast or YouTube video, whatever, compared Rise of Skywalker to like a really bad improviser. Because if Last Jedi gave all these ideas rather than saying yes and Rise of Skywalker was like, no, but Palpatine's here. And yeah, you said Rey's parents aren't real, but her grandfather was Palpatine. And I don't fucking care who Rey's uh previous relatives are.
See, the
All I
thing
care
is,
is that there's a
no,
clear
no, no, I know we don't care.
establishment and
I know we don't care, but there were so many like fanboys and like all those things that were hating on 8 because of this. So like I think they felt like they were getting so much hate in terms of like what was being thrown out into the public from these people. A very vocal minority, I think. But
yes.
like they felt that they had to like steer towards them. And you know what? In a sense, they might have been right because there wasn't as much vocal hatred for this movie in the same way.
Well, the people who I feel like the people who disliked this movie were the silent majority. The silent majority who liked Last Jedi.
I mean, sure, but the thing is, like, even a lot of the people who hated this movie for what it was, they're just like, it's a Star Wars movie. I enjoyed it.
Yes. It's the people who aren't as attached. If you're that attached, then you have strong feelings.
Which
for
is
it.
why it kind of makes sense from Disney's point of view why they would make this. It was the wrong creative choice, but financially, I kind of get it.
Do you? The film made $1.078 billion, which is a lot if you just hear it, but it made a shit ton less than the previous two movies.
But like in terms of what you are hearing from the public in the moment, what is the biggest thing you're hearing? People hated what the previous movie was. We need to course correct.
Yes. But those hurt fans would have still seen episode 9 no matter what.
Yeah, but you also have to keep in mind Disney is the company which also like fired James Gunn briefly because they were trying to like make him
Sure.
problematic. So they're like, oh, we
Sure.
gotta get rid of all this negative attention. Let's do
Sure.
it.
Sure.
Without actually looking into it. So they are the ones who would do that. It falls in line with who they are as a company, is what I'm saying.
It's so weird. It's so weird. Cause like I didn't see a lot. We saw the first Jurassic World, but I don't know too much about Colin Trevorrow's work. I am really intrigued as to what his episode 9 was gonna be. Where's the Trevorrow cut?
You know, Jenny Nicholson actually read his script.
I think I listened to part of it. Do we know if it's officially his script?
It's his name on the page, so.
But like, I don't know if he could ever. Like, no one could actually confirm that, right?
I mean, how would you confirm something like that?
I don't know, but like, isn't it easy to just make a script and put his name on it?
You know, the thing is though, there's a lot of elements that still made it into the final version, which is why I found it so funny, like watching that video and her being like, "There's no way they do this stupid stuff in the movie, right?" And then they do Snoke clones, Snoke's in test tubes. It's great.
I don't think this movie is J.J. Abrams' fault. I feel like it'd be easy to throw it on him. But like, as we established, Disney probably had so much say in this movie that it was less, hey JJ, do what you want, and more, hey JJ, follow our rules, follow our direction.
Sure.
Assuming we don't know. We don't fucking know. Who are we? We're two people with glasses.
I also do think Palpatine was in that Trevorrow script.
Was he revealed in a cold open? An opening
I don't know about that.
scroll? Or was there, a dramatic reveal to supposed important character in the Star Wars universe. This movie was terrible at reveals. Like fucking, it's a really magical moment when in Episode 7 when Han's revealed, when Leia's revealed, when Luke's revealed, and when they introduced Lando in this movie. It's so flat.
But yo, when Rose was revealed in the background in that one scene, priceless.
Oh,
She's
Kelly
still
Marie
here,
Tran.
guys.
Kelly Marie Tran.
I've seen interviews where they were like hyping up this movie and stuff like that, and you could just see it in their reactions that they are just not fans. With like how Oscar Isaac, he was like, they were initially planning on killing me off in the first movie, and now I'm thinking, what if they did?
Oh my god. They really did Kelly Marie Tran dirty.
And then for Kelly Marie Tran, there was one thing where like someone asked her about her character's arc through this movie, and then she gave a brief chuckle, and then she's like, "Oh wait, I actually have to give an answer."
That's funny. So much of this movie just doesn't, as you mentioned before, it's rattling off a list of stuff that happens, but no real thread connecting them and no real build up to
Which
it.
I
No
think is really weird,
development.
because through the dialogue you could see the themes that it's trying to do, like the whole we can win together sort of thing. But the way the plot is structured and the way the film progresses, most of it is spent with Rey just going off on her own and doing her own thing, and Finn just being like, "Rey, come back," and that's how
Yeah.
that story is told. Which the resolution of that is Finn just finds someone else to buddy up with.
Does he? Because they
Yeah,
land on the after the final battle, they land, and I don't think he has a scene with let me Naomi Aki plays Jana. I don't think he has a scene with Jana. I don't know how
maybe
soon that
not at the
is.
end, but like that feels like it's supposed to be the resolution of that sort of story in the moment, which makes it feel so much more off when like that doesn't feel like a cathartic moment when he's been chasing after this one person to help him, and then he finds his resolution in someone else, and then when the actual resolution of the overall story happens, it's not with that other person.
Well, I have a question. How do any of these characters change in this movie? I guess Kylo kind of does, but I'm because his the
I'll be
ghost of
honest, by
Han Solo
like
came.
the last 30 minutes of this movie I was completely lost.
Yeah, I'm still confused as to like what anyone was doing and why. It's a lot. It's a lot, and you don't get to sit with it to A, understand what the fuck's going on, or B, to let anything really mean anything. We said it before, but like nothing means anything in this movie. Even episode 7, which people call like a copy of episode 4, whatever. Stuff means meeting Han means something to Rey, you
Yeah, and
know?
also like the subtext of that movie is like we are moving past this. We have to like struggle against our past, but also learn from it and move beyond our forefathers or whatever.
And that's
And
even
then
episode
this
8.
and then this movie is just like, oh, forget all that. We got to go back. And it
Well, this
feels like such a digression for your culminating moment that it's like, what was the point of all this?
well by the correct me if I'm wrong. By the end of episode 8, Rey's kind of like, yeah, it doesn't matter who my parents are, right?
Yeah.
And then they keep fucking hammering that in again. And she goes, "Oh, I'm a Palpatine? That's terrible. I'm a Palpatine. My name means I'm going to be evil." And then she's like, "Oh, I'll just take this other person's name."
And if anything, yeah, that feels like a shitty resolution in its own right. Because like I get Skywalker is the big name for the franchise, but like if you want to make Rey a Palpatine, fuck it, go full force and call this the Palpatine saga.
Yeah.
Palpatine was there for most of the movies, and then like let her reclaim that name.
Cause
By the
cause
end of this movie, it's like, yes, that is who I am, but I'm owning it and I'm changing it for the better.
isn't
That would have been a better culminating moment if you got to go with that route.
isn't so much of Star Wars about balancing the good and bad within yourself?
Yeah.
And so in this one, she just smothers the bad to kill it, and then whatever parts she likes of herself is what she embraces. It's quite the mess, this movie.
And again, for a movie uh whose one of its major themes is trying to be togetherness and like working as a team, so much of the movie spent with just Rey by herself.
It's this is not about being a team until you get to the end.
No,
Where I'm
but
like,
like
where did
it's
this come
something that
from?
they keep
No,
saying it multiple times early on.
it is. I think that's a Star Wars theme. The fact that we will get through it together. If have hope, let's bond. Let's get and
Sure,
we'll
sure,
go over it
sure.
together.
But I feel like this movie specifically focused more on the together thing than hope necessarily,
Yes, yes.
which is why it feels so off when most of the movie is people by themselves.
Well, there's a lot of this movie that's Ray with Poe with Finn, right? That's the trio. But although they are physically together, there is no trio bond between the three of them.
Which is what it feels like the story was trying to do with setting up the like we have to go get the thing, like we have to go on this journey together. It feels like that's what the plot was trying to do, but nothing in the characters or in the way it was written did it.
No, well, they're it's a replication of the original trilogy, right? Of the Luke, Han, Leia trio.
Sure, sure.
The thing is that at least in the original trilogy, you see those three characters get to know each other in episode 4 in the Death Star. And so when you get back to them together in episode 6, you understand these dynamics. I assume. I feel like I always zone out during episode 6. In this trilogy, Rey and Poe don't meet until the very end of episode 8. There's no dynamic between the two of them. And so they both have their singular relationship with Finn. He's the glue, but those two, it's more like an angle than a triangle, right? And then you get to episode 9, Poe and Finn return to this planet, and the first interaction between Rey and Poe are them fighting. And I don't know why they're fighting. I don't know if they enjoy each other's presence. If it is some sort of rivalry, that should probably, go throughout. And so there's no sense of what this group dynamic is. And so I do not care for that trio in the same way that I care about the original trilogy's trio.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. The other thing is like the forced heteronormativity of this movie just gets to me so much.
What do you mean?
Like it really feels like they had to pull something out of their ass so that each one, like Poe needs to have someone that he's pining for that we're just gonna pull out of nowhere, and then also Finn's got to find someone else because Rey's not on his level. Rey's too good for him.
Carrie Russell's one of the most beloved actresses on television right now. Let's get her, put her in a mask, and have her do nothing.
Well, you know what? They did the same to Daniel Craig, and you weren't complaining about that.
Daniel Craig was a cameo. They kept teasing.
She might as well have been a cameo.
They reveal her eyes? And I still don't understand what her and Poe's relationship is. There's no chemistry between them because they don't establish anything. And then she comes out of nowhere in the end. She gives him that coin. She's like, this is an important coin. Take it.
Yeah, that's how they were able to get into the Death Star mobile, whatever. Not Death Star.
Is that what they did with the fucking coin?
Yeah, they were able to get into the hangar without any problem, and then they were like, "State your purpose," and then that's when they shot them. Otherwise, they would have been shot beforehand.
Oh no. Maybe that would have added dramatic tension to this movie. And
I don't know if that's necessarily what's missing. It's more that they don't let you sit in it.
yeah. There's
Like again, there was
there's
that moment where she destroyed that ship, which she thought was carrying Chewbacca. And if it let you sit in that moment, that would have been so strong.
I think there are stakes. The movie tells you what is at risk. There is no tension because there is no, oh, could this happen? Could that happen? Because it all happened so fucking fast. And I want to put it out there, right? I don't think it's any of the actors' fault. The actors are giving it their all. As much as they can. But fuck.
John Boyega sure knows how to scream Rey.
He does. Well, you know, when you do it 9,000 times, you gotta get used to it.
And like at a certain point, you know, there was that scene where like they were on the remains of the Death Star or whatever, and there was the waves and everything. And then Finn was running up to Rey because, you know,
Why?
like Nagini, he wants to stand next to her. And then she's just like, get the fuck out of my way because you're literally being a nuisance. Which fair.
Why?
He literally was.
Finn wasn't like that in episode 7, right?
He wasn't.
Because if you told me Poe was doing it, because Poe's like, yeah, women can take care of themselves, like, that makes sense. Poe was very toxically masculine in episode 8.
Thing. I feel like none of the main trilogy are the characters they were from the previous movies.
Main trio, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. You said main trilogy. I'm like, which movies?
Yeah, the main trilogy of characters. It's the same ones throughout all 3 trilogies, is it not? Oh, right. I actually forgot because the prequels actually tried to do something different, unlike the sequels.
Yeah. I feel like the sequels were starting to do something different. That's the thing.
See, that's the thing. I know a lot of people who, while this was coming out, it's like, oh, finally, you know what? We're going to get good Star Wars movies again. We're going to get something great again. And then by the time it's over, people are like, you know what? The prequels weren't that bad, guys. Like, it's definitely better than.
I will never say that. But I do know there's people saying that. It is weird that
you know what? I think it might be. Personally, as a whole, I might prefer the prequels.
Last Jedi alone does it for me.
Yeah, but one movie does not a trilogy make. And like, if we're talking overarching story, the prequels has a better overarching story than the sequels. I mean, come on.
I do not enjoy. I did not enjoy. The general consensus is episode 3 is the best prequel. But when I watched it this year, I was like, I just can't. I'm so not on board with any of these movies. If you enjoy it, fine, enjoy it. Go enjoy it. I can't.
I still prefer 1 over 7. So like,
fine.
Yeah.
Signs says that it's not that, but sure. I'm not that passionate. I think 1 does have those moments like I could see how you can enjoy this.
And it does a lot of different shit with it. And the main villain is actually compelling. And set up in Darth Maul. Come on.
Is Darth Maul the main villain? He's the main obstacle. He's not the main villain.
For that movie, yes.
We don't know what Darth Maul stands for. All right? He's just a hired assassin. They're like,
everyone
hey, dude.
loves Boba Fett.
I don't understand why. Forever will be a 40-year-old mystery for me. Why do we care about this fucker?
By the way, it was again another thing during the interviews was like you remember that scene where like they're like, oh, they now have jetpacks for the stormtroopers.
I fucking hated that. Because what the fuck does Boba Fett have? You tell me,
Like
40
literally,
fucking years, 40 years or whatever.
even
no one said,
during
let's watch
even
it.
during the interviews, John Boyega was like, they've been using those since the Clone Wars.
What a,
It's not new technology.
I do have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a moment where we won't be yelling at the movie. Because once again, I don't think this is the movie's fault. The handling of Princess Leia.
What I will say before anything else,
Hmm.
I found it funny how once it was actually over, the body just disappeared.
I thought that was really weird that both her and Kylo's bodies disappeared. But then I'm like, well, I guess Luke did in episode 8 and Obi-Wan in episode 4.
No, wait, did
So it is a
they
motif.
disappear or did they just fall? Like I
They
thought.
disappeared.
Okay.
Han falls down off the bridge.
Oh, so only the midichlorians cause your cells to disappear. That's
Sure.
what it is.
Sure. Do any Jedi die in the prequels? I'm trying to think if they disappear.
I'll be honest, I haven't seen 2 and 3 in a while.
Okay. Because, yeah, Obi-Wan disappears in episode 4. Vader hits him, and then Luke disappears in episode 8 as well. So I was like, oh, that's why you're continuing that motif. But the world is terrible sometimes. And in doing so, it took the great Carrie Fisher away from us. I think it's very obvious they wanted to make this the Carrie movie after episode 7 was the Harrison Ford and episode 8 was the Luke Hamill movies.
Right.
And my
Luke Hamill?
Luke Hamill. Yeah, they couldn't afford Mark. Mark was too busy doing Arkham Knight. And so they were like, hey, let's get your brother. And so my understanding is they used archival footage, stuff that was cut or outtakes of Leia from episode 7 and 8. The thing is, all of Leia's lines feel like there's a string on her and someone pulled it and she just says a random line. There's no weight to anything she says. It's all very general, like, yeah, you're right. Rey, why don't you do this? And so the other character in the scene, typically Rey, has to carry the scene and give exposition and whatnot because
she
Leia
has to carry it because Carrie can't carry.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Carrie can't carry anymore. And so it's I don't know if that was the right call. But I don't
This is
know if
also
there is a right
something
call.
the Star Wars movies have been doing. Like there was the Rogue One where that dude shows up.
Tarkin.
Yeah.
I don't know the actor's name off the top of my head. But that it was a CGI model and he was given lines. Like he actually says stuff in that movie.
Honestly, at that point, I just think it's better to recast. Just recast.
I think with the character of Princess Leia, it's weird. Again, I don't think there's a right answer to do this. Whatever happened would be disappointing.
But like, I mean, I get why. Because like that's how we're trained to see movies at this point, that the actor is that character and they're inextricably tied once they're done. Once they do that, they're tied and that's there. But like I'm fuck, what was that actor's name? I'm with Hugo Weaving.
What did Hugo Weaving say?
Listen, my timetable didn't fit. I couldn't play the role that I historically played and everyone knows me for. Let someone else do it.
Yeah, but it's not Agent Smith, is it?
Not necessarily for that, maybe.
Yeah, just rework and name it someone different.
No, but like even in terms of Red Skull. Because like I'm pretty sure for Matrix, if he was on board, they would have done it. And like I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have minded if they brought in some other agent person and called that Agent Smith. because the actor itself doesn't necessarily make the fictional character. Yes,
I
they
think
embody it for that work, but I don't know if it should be inextricably tied like that.
I think it depends on the character. Because you bring up the Matrix, and the woman who played the Oracle, I forget if it's between 1 and 2 or 2 or 3, but she passed away.
Yeah, 2 and 3. Or
So they
wait,
have
no,
the
1
new
and 2,
Oracle.
I guess. Yeah, because 2 and 3 was filmed back to back.
They have a new Oracle because after one movie, it's not as ingrained in the culture, right? Carrie Fisher's fucking Princess.
I don't know about that. Come on,
Oracle?
Matrix 1?
Sure,
Yes.
the movie, but the character is not. The Oracle is not the first character you think of. Think of Matrix. You think of Neo. You think of Morpheus. You think of Trinity. You think of Agent Smith. Maybe you'll get to Oracle as like 7 or 8. Carrie Fisher is one of the faces of this movie, this franchise.
I still think it would have been better to recast.
I think there's a world where this movie opens on the funeral of Princess Leia. She passes in between movies.
I mean, sure, that's another way to go about it. But if you wanted Leia to be there, just recast.
I don't know. It is a question. Because they also have that moment when they CGI'd young Carrie Fisher. So they probably could have CGI'd old Carrie Fisher, which I also have like ethical issues with. That just feels weird, but they did it with Tarkin. I don't know. I don't know what's the correct way to proceed. We're entering new realms and dealing with this stuff, and it's an interesting conversation to have.
A good example for an iconic character, an iconic performance for that character, but then going on to be replaced. Mary Poppins.
Yeah, 60 years later.
Still. Yeah, exactly. If they're not there to be able to perform that role, someone else needs to step in to take their place. It's that simple.
I don't think it is.
No,
Mary Poppins beloved character. Mary Poppins
I understand
character.
from the perspective of the way we are taught to view these characters and these movies, that isn't the case, but that shouldn't be what we're taught to believe, is what I'm saying.
No, I get it. I think it's a case by case thing. I don't think there's a full rule to it.
It just feels like an easy way to just trap actors into roles.
Sure, but Carrie Fisher made Princess Leia more so than even George Lucas. You know, she rewrote scenes in episode 5 and 6 and maybe in episode 4.
Okay.
You don't have Leia without Fisher. And I also think who would want to take over that role from her? That's a lot of fucking weight.
Sure, but that's also a great chance to stand out. I think in that case, much like what this trilogy was initially going for, make way for the new.
So, new characters?
You could do that, or
should we have new characters that we actually develop?
Actors. Yeah. But yeah, let's talk about Kylo now.
Kylo, Adam Driver. He has a mask on for most of this movie. we can just guess on our own why he has the mask on the entire movie.
I laughed like 45 seconds into the actual movie itself. Like after the opening crawl, 45 seconds in, I laughed to myself.
Oh, that really weird montage?
Which one?
Like the slow-mo montage of him killing stuff to get to Palpatine's base?
Because like there was that moment where he literally moonwalks into killing someone.
Sure. Sure.
I literally laughed. And then there's he's really given Cobra Starship in this movie, especially in that in that first conversation he has with Ray through the Force or whatever, where he's like, I can turn you to the dark side, because he can make them good girls go bad.
He's Adam Driver. There's a reason. There's a reason when they won the Emmy last week tonight. Shout out Adam Driver.
I don't
There's a
know.
reason.
Okay, see, the thing is, I don't think maybe Adam Driver as a person can do it. I don't think Kylo Ren can actually. He much like the lead singer in Cobra Starship. He likes to think he can make them good girls go bad, but he can't.
I see.
He's funny to view in that light. It's like, oh,
I
you're
see.
trying so hard.
I'm still confused.
An object of pity, if you will.
I'm confused as to what the fuck Kylo was doing in this movie. Because he meets up with Palpatine in the very beginning. Did Palpatine give him a mission to get Rey?
Yeah, the mission was to kill Ray.
But isn't he telling Rey to fight Palpatine?
Yeah. Because he's still going on that no, let the past die. I'll be the supreme leader. So he's trying to like double cross Palpatine.
It just him even just pretending to follow Palpatine feels like such a reversal of the last movie.
Yeah, but Masinson, this is Palpatine. He's the big head honcho. He's stronger than everyone. And like Kylo Ren's got to take him by surprise. Hell, the only way he killed Snoke was by surprise. And this man manufactures Snoke clones. So of course he can't 1v1 him.
I will say Palpatine's power is palpable. Palpatine's power is palpable. Very palpable. Driver's fine. He does what he can. That first Rey Kylo scene with the Force was so weird because it's at such a high level of dramaticness that the melodramatic switch is so sudden when everything is moving so fast that I couldn't help but laugh. And I want to go back and watch the Force scenes from episode 8 and episode 9 because there's something off about them and I cannot figure out what it is.
I think it worked in 8.
Yeah, I think it works in 8 too, but something about the atmosphere of those scenes, the mood of it, maybe the way it's blocked and staged is odd.
Well, in 8 there was a bit of the romantic sexual tension going on with those scenes that this movie doesn't feel like it's capitalizing on in the same way.
It's trying to.
Yeah.
So my question is, what is this scene doing differently that it doesn't work as well? Because the ideas that this movie has with those Force scenes are really cool. I like when they fight and they affect each other's environment, or they're able to pass around the lightsaber. Like, as a guy who enjoys playing with action figures, that's a cool idea. That's a fun imaginative idea, but it being cool is not enough. There's nothing to it and something about how those scenes work in this movie doesn't work for me, and I can't put my finger on what it is.
Right.
And then I don't know, how do you feel about the Han Solo coming back?
I didn't mind it.
No,
I got it in terms. It was a nice moment actually.
I enjoyed it the first time I watched it, and I think because I was expecting it to be one of the bright lights of this movie, I enjoyed it less the second time around, but still one of the better parts of the movie. I completely forgot that Luke comes back. His Force Ghost pops. I'm like, whoa. I forgot this happens. Would have known. Could have known. We didn't even talk about my least favorite character in this movie.
C-3PO.
What the fuck was he doing in this movie? He was with them for other adventures where he was like a minor character in the last 2 movies. and he always annoys me, but I think he works in small doses. There's so much fucking 3PO in this movie, and he's like, I want one last look at my friends, these
I
people
like
who
that
I never
moment.
he never talks to Ray, or he never talks to Ray first off,
You know what? Sure,
and
sure.
barely talk to Poe and Finn.
Even so, the way he sells that line, I just the level of sincerity from that droid gets to me.
Sure, sure. It it's one of those moments in this movie that feels like fan service. And so they went for it rather than connecting what makes sense with what has been established already. Like it's that, and then the Kylo Ray kiss at the end.
There was a kiss? I thought they
Are you
just hugged.
serious? Are you serious?
Again, I checked out for like the last 30 minutes of this movie.
They kiss after he brings her back to life.
Oh, right, she died. How did he
He
bring her
died.
back?
He somehow climbs out of that pit that he fell into. And they establish she heals the snake with the force earlier.
Well, I obviously just was not paying attention after Palpatine
God bless
that
you.
fight because,
God
like,
bless
I
you.
don't know what pit you're talking about. I just remember a
Palpatine
hug.
Palpatine tosses Kylo into a pit. Rey somehow kills Palpatine. She's dying from the giving too much. Kylo climbs out of the pit, goes over to Rey, grabs her in his arms, force heals her, and then they kiss. And then he disappears.
You could tell I'm very professional in this podcast because I forget the endings of movies.
You're fine, Boan, because I
Like,
wish I
I
could forget that movie, that plot.
completely, I don't even remember seeing it. Like, you're saying all these things, no image is being conjured up here.
I was wondering how we haven't talked about this yet, because it's one of my least favorite part of this movie. I was like, this is probably my least favorite movie since the Transformer movies.
Damn, you hated those.
The only other one I could think of is maybe Lion King, but like I think there's some merit to testing how far animation can go in Lion King.
Listen, I know you hated Transformers, so like that's
Hate it.
bad.
I see. The thing is, I fucking hate those movies, but I knew I was good. I don't have an attachment to that franchise. I feel an attachment to episode 7 and 8 that makes this so much worse for me.
At this point, I'm feeling a fondness for the Transformers movies.
Yeah,
And I think I was semi-positive during the reviews. You
I
could
think
you
you
could
were.
go back and see how I interacted with those movies.
I think
It
you
it
were.
very much feels like a male, like, id and ego driving it,
Oh, it
and
is.
like it's very fascinating to look at it from that lens specifically.
But yeah, this is. I was trying to think about the last time I hated a movie this much. And it's probably a Transformer, or that. I wouldn't even say the Fourth Pirates. I don't like
See,
the
I
Fourth Pirates. I wouldn't even say that.
think I like the Transformers movies more than this because, like, at least there was something to those.
Is there any movie you dislike as much as this? Because I think you come off more negative on a lot of the movies than I am, but then you have moments in Captain Marvel and this when you're like, maybe I was too hard on those movies.
What I will say is, mm, I don't think I hate this as much as you do because I don't really have that level of fondness.
Hmm.
But I do think Pirates 4 is still worse.
Pirates 4 is a mess.
Which ones did I hate more?
Because even I hate the prequels. I think I'd rather watch a prequel than this, which
I
I
mean,
find fascinating thinking about right now.
I'd rather rewatch One by a Country Mile than this.
A Country Mile.
A Country Mile.
What about like a City Mile?
Nah, that's it's too little space.
How about Lovecraft Country Miles?
I'm pretty sure that's a phrase. Is that not a phrase?
I've never heard it before. I hope it is. Is that a phrase?
Yeah,
While
yeah.
Pawan looks
Country
this up,
mile, a very long way. That is a phrase people use.
just once again, apologies to Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, Adam Driver, Daisy Ridley, John Boyega, Oscar Isaac, Anthony Daniels, Naomi Aki, Domhnall Gleeson, Richard E. Grant, Lupita Nyong'o, Kerry Russell, Juna Swatomo, Kelly Marie Tran, Ian McDiarmid, Billy D. Williams, Billy Lord, Harrison Ford, uh, cameos from J.J. Abrams, Jodie Comer, yeah, lots of fucking people.
Wait,
Kevin Smith
there.
and Michael Giacchino and Lin-Manuel Miranda and Jeff Garlin have cameos.
Wait.
Apologies for this movie being what it is.
Whoa, wait. Damn, I gotta remember what his name was.
Apologies to J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. You all tried. Apologies to Dan Mindell, the cinematographer. Editors Marianne Brandon and Stefan Grube.
I
John
saw.
Williams. Apologies to you.
I remember watching the scenes at the base where like people are talking. It's like, yo, good on you, JJ, for giving Dominic Monaghan a role again. He was Charlie in Lost.
Oh.
He was the guy on the base that said something like once in a while, but like didn't actually have any tasks.
Interesting. I'm on the Wikipedia right now. It says, although it was the lowest grossing installment in the trilogy, it turned an estimated net profit of $300 million. Made its money. I always bring up Oscars. I want to point out the fact that I was nominated for Best Original Score, Visual Effects, and Sound Editing for a reason. All of the all of the sequel trilogy got those nominations for score, visual effects, and sound editing. This is the only movie in the trilogy not nominated for Best Sound Mixing, and assumedly the film that took its spot at the Oscars. A great space movie. Ad Astra.
Hell yeah.
Go watch Ad Astra. Terrific picture. There's a monkeys. Probably the one.
Why did you spoil the monkeys?
I didn't say what they do. No one knows what they do. Probably my least favorite scene of that movie, but there are
That
monkeys.
scene is amazing. All right, I love that movie.
No, I remember one other scene I don't like, but I do really enjoy that movie. That's a very, very quality picture.
What I will say is, yeah, it feels like the reason why I feel like none of these movies win, and this also goes for the Marvel movies, for visual effects and all that, it feels like an obligatory nomination, but like they don't really feel like they do anything inside the movie to really make those moments pop in that sense.
Well, I think it's the scale of it that gets the nomination. I think you look at a film like I don't want to say 1917 because although that's
it's weird because most of the with the acting Oscars, it usually is most.
Sure.
Best means most. But when it comes to visual effects, it's interesting that it's not about most, but it literally is about like what moments really stood out.
Well, it's also the prestige of it. The Planet of the Apes recent trilogy never won visual effects. It was beat by Hugo, Interstellar, and Blade Runner 2049. Scorsese, Nolan, and Villeneuve. That's prestige right there.
Well, was it because of Villeneuve or was it because it's Blade Runner?
I will say Blade Runner is probably the only one that maybe Interstellar I would say above Planet of the Apes. But Hugo winning? I enjoyed Hugo. Hugo beat Rise of the Planet of the Apes for visual effects.
I could see that.
That's a good one.
I mean, because also Hugo is a movie about filmmaking that's also very heavy in its like visual effects for that. So that makes sense.
But Pawan, did Hugo have a scene where Draco Malfoy tries to hurt a monkey and the monkey yells, "No!"
I'll be honest, I haven't seen Hugo, but I read the book.
I like the movie. I saw it way back when it came out. But even like Ex Machina won over Mad Max Fury Road.
Again,
The Martian,
I think it
Revenant,
comes back to
and Star Wars Force
of it.
Awakens.
like
You thi-
the
you think?
focus on it.
Sure.
Because yeah, there's in Ex Machina, it's a very much a limited affair in terms of stuff like that. But like you see it up close, and like it's
Uh,
very much a focal point of the movie.
what about
Whereas with
2008? Sorry, there you go.
no, go ahead.
I said, what about 2008 when The Dark Knight and Iron Man lost to The Curious Case of Benjamin Button?
You know, I don't know what to say about that one because like
That's
I
an odd
saw that
one.
movie recently. It's okay, but like, nah.
Huh. All three Lord of the Rings movies won this award.
I mean, that makes complete sense.
Good
Like,
for them.
if anything, they could just put the appendices as like submit that as like proof of like this is how we did the thing. This is why you should care.
Good for them. I didn't even look at my notes yet for this movie. Is there anything you want to say left?
Mm. What
I
movie are
mentioned
we
this.
talking about?
Please be anything but Rise of Skywalker. I mentioned they fucking wasted Jodie Comer, one of the great actresses working today from Killing Eve, and she has this terrible cameo as Ray's mom. There's that fucking scene. I think actually I really like. There's little things I like. It's really funny when Finn's like, "You're a spice runner," and Poe goes, "You're a stormtrooper," and then Ray says, "You're a spice runner," and Poe goes, "You're a scavenger." We can do this all day. I found that funny. But also, I don't know what the fuck a spice runner is.
Straight up, I was like, are they trying to connect this to the Dune universe?
Oh, Pawan, save that for later. Cause you know who's in Dune. You know who's in Dune. Our boy Oscar Isaacs.
Like
In
I
Dune.
was literally watching that scene. It's like, wait, what the fuck? Am I watching?
He's in
Is
Dune.
this just like a side story?
Pawan. We broke the story. We've entered the Matrix. Dune is a prequel for Star Wars.
Like that really like broke me in the moment when they said you're a spice runner.
We know what the fuck is it just someone who like trades illegal goods to people or something? Right? Probably.
Guess in this context, sure, but I was taking
Like,
it literally because like you know what Dune is, right?
yeah, I know of Dune.
The desert planet, like that's the only place where that spice can be harvested, and like that's the biggest commodity. So spice runners, I assume, are people who would
Was that what
illegally
happens in
steal it.
Dune?
Yeah,
Intriguing. I don't know, but like I don't know. It's like why do we care that he was a spice runner? I don't know if that's ever been established in Star Wars lore.
whoa, you know what hasn't been established
What?
and that was left completely unchecked? What's Poe's family name?
Dameron. Poe Dameron.
Yeah, but like what about the Dameron clan? Like what's their backstory? What's their history?
Great, great question. Great story. Pawn, what you don't realize is that Poe was like, hey, I want to get on this plane or something. And the dude's like, what's your name? And he said, my name is Poe. And the dude was like, you don't have a last name? And Poe was like, no, I don't have a last name. I'm alone. I'm solo. So the dude was like, huh, your last name will be Dameron.
No, it's like no. Then he's like, oh, I met a solo recently. His first name was Han, and then Poe's like, nah, fuck that guy. I'm different. I'm Dameron.
I'm not like the other brooding badass dude. I'm a different badass dude. I just came up with another thing I was gonna say. Babu Frick. I remember Bobby Frick being a big thing when this movie first came
I
out.
like Babu Frick.
He's adorable. He has a line I enjoyed. He's like, "Hello, I Babu Frick" when he introduces himself to C-3PO. I think
Yeah.
adorable, adorable character. The I think he was completely uh, just overlapsed. I guess is what I'm looking for by Baby Yoda. I think came out around the same time.
Hmm.
Because Babu Frick, no cultural cachet anymore.
Speaking of cultural cachet,
Hmm.
um, I wanted more porgs. Where were the porgs?
Sure, sure. Was that one of the things people hate about episode 8?
Maybe some people, because like I know there's the people who didn't like the Ewoks because like why do I need these cute and cuddly creatures?
Well, we got the Ewoks back. We need to get a little pork. A little of the porks.
I mean, it was the same amount as the Ewoks.
Is it simply just because they weren't on that planet? Are they just on that one planet?
I guess.
Kind of like a porg sneak on them the Millennium Falcone, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? So, okay. Real world connection time. Real world connection time. In Australia,
Whoa.
they had an issue with one species of I think it was a tarantula or something,
Oh no.
or like some sort of smaller creature was all over the place and they were ruining crops or something.
Hmm.
And then one dude was like, yo, get this. I know in Africa, there's this one toad who eats that shit. So then they're like, bet, let's bring it
This
here.
isn't good. This isn't good.
So they brought it there and they were like, but wait, there's almost nothing that eats that toad. So now they just have a huge infestation of those toads. And what I'm proposing is that is what should have happened with porgs. That after episode 8, they should have populated the universe.
I may have an idea on what to do with porgs. Stay tuned.
I mean, I just gave that away for free. That's a fix right there.
One, stay tuned.
But yeah, much like
again,
how Australia ruined its animal life with that choice, the porgs should have infested some of the other planets in that same way.
maybe porgs are going to do something. We'll
All
find
right.
out. There's so much fan service that sucks in this. Maz Kanata giving Chewie a medal out of nowhere. What the fuck did Chewie do in that last battle?
What I will say is that for something that is being marketed as like the culminating thing of 9 movies, it seems to only be focused on 3 of them.
Yep.
And not its own 3 movies.
No.
Which like okay. If you want to be a capstone of not only your trilogy but like 3 trilogies, then actually be a capstone for all 3. Like sure it's a big task, but like, you know what? There was space to throw in some pod racing shit. Like they literally had that chase. Why couldn't they have done that in Pod Racers?
Sure. We know how much I love the pod racing scene from episode 1.
I mean, sure, but like that definitely is a big part of the franchise in a sense. If you're going to
just on movies. That's a big part of the franchise.
At least it's a big part of the first movie, technically in terms of numerical order.
Sure. On a bullet point list, it happens. But there's no emotional thing that connects it to the others. If you want to be lazy and just call back, sure. But there's no reason to bring it back. Like there's no reason for Harrison Ford to say, "I know" again.
No, I think
that's on the
well,
nose.
I guess because they didn't even like acknowledge Anakin in any sense. It was only Darth Vader. Again, because they were only focusing on those 3. But if they were focusing on Anakin in some sense, that is a big part of Anakin.
There is that one moment. There's one moment of Rey. I forgot what she's doing, but all these I was zoning out during this movie and I had to rewind. There's like all of the voices of all the other Jedi popping in, and so you got like Ewan McGregor has a cameo voice, and all the, I don't know, even animated Jedi from like Clone Wars and Forces. What's the other Star Wars animated one? What I'm talking about? Anyways, they have all these voice cameos, and that's the closest we get to reference to like the prequels and the Clone Wars and all that stuff. It's not that there's not there, but it doesn't add to anything. But you're right, it does ignore the prequels. But should it acknowledge those movies take place what 80 years before this? Oh, you're actually, Palpatine comes back. So maybe, maybe, maybe.
Again,
There's
another
something
thing is like it feels like this movie wants to turn this into the Palpatine saga, which it
Yeah.
should have done.
Two questions.
If they were going with this sort of story and trying to tie it all back together with that sort of name thing, and they didn't want to do the whole brother sister thing again, sure. If Palpatine had to be here, yeah.
That's a question of did Palpatine have to be here? I have two questions for you. One, if there's
I'm
a
seeing it
first
more
or
from the
okay.
perspective. Give me one sec. I'm seeing it more from the perspective of if you want to make it a culminating, overarching story thing where, because in a sense, Palpatine is the person who started the overarching story.
Sure.
And Rey Palpatine has to come to finish it.
I think then differentiating between Palpatine and Skywalker is a semantical thing. It's not Skywalker because that's the protagonist. I think it's that simple. Also, Skywalker saga, you got that alliteration. Alliteration's powerful, Pawan.
Sure. Where was the
Imagine your name-
alliteration in Infinity War saga? Where was
Imagine
the
your name. Imagine your name was Pawan Peta.
No. No.
As I said it, I had regrets. I apologize. So I two things. One, if there's a first order and a last order, where's the order?
Where's the main order?
Where's the main order? Come on, Star Wars. Care about your lore. You can't find a main order. Number two, I think I'm getting old. Because we had this with Incredibles 2, and we have this here. The flashing lights were getting to me last night. And it was not when I first saw this in theaters. It was not when the first time I saw Incredibles 2, but watching Incredibles 2 for the podcast, it got to me. It really got to me in this one.
At
And
the
it happened
ripe
whenever Palpatine was
age
on screen.
of 23.
At the what age?
24. I don't know. How old are you?
No. What was the adjective you used?
At the ripe age.
Well, what did you say?
At the ripe age of 23, Miss Simpson is going into his elder years, in his bedtime years.
I thought you said something else other than ripe, and I was kind of scared.
What did you think I said?
Let's move on.
Wipe.
That's all I got. That's all I got. I don't like this movie. I think
it was Star Wars. If you like Star Wars, it's another one. It's not a great one, but it's another one.
I just saw another note. I saw the planets don't feel so lived in. I don't get the sense of the world.
I didn't really get that in Rogue One either. So,
but episode 7 and 8, I get a sense of the world more so.
You know, I will say I did get it in that one scene where they were walking through that festival. I like that festival.
Okay. I like it because it's the first time this film poses its thesis question. What is your family name? And it's very important to this movie. Well, that was our discussion on Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. Very important discussion. And now time for a very important part of the podcast. Pawan, what is that part?
Ads.
What is your family name?
Do
you have one? If you don't, let's find you a family name. Hello, this is where we give Pawan a family name. Pawan, family names are very important to the world.
Okay, yes.
And in the U.S., there are many a family name.
Am I talking to one Lando Calrissian right now? Because he is the arbiter of giving out family names?
He is. Pawan, I have a list of the 27 most popular family names in the United States.
Let's see if I can
And we're
find me
gonna
a family name.
give you your family name.
Okay.
So this is how it's gonna start. I want you to pick a movie we talked about on the podcast. Any movie. Go.
Can you pull up the list?
Any movie you talked about on the podcast. Just go. First one that comes to
Alice
mind.
in Wonderland.
Alice in Wonderland. Obviously released in 2010. So we're gonna use the number 2, the number 10. Add 2 and 10, you get 12. Multiply 2 by 10, you get 20. So we're gonna use the numbers 2, 10, 12, and 20. All right. The viewers at home will see the names on the screen. You cannot see it, Pawan, and the listeners can't see. I apologize, listeners, to catch the video version of this. So 2, 10, 12, and 20 are the names you chose. Pawan, would you like the name behind door number 2 or the name behind door number 20?
I'm gonna see what's behind door number 20 before I decide.
All right, door number 20. Now it's like deal or no deal, deal or no deal. You're gonna hold number 20. Remember
Okay.
the number 20.
All right.
And we're gonna reveal what was in number 2. The second most popular family name in the country, Johnson. Your family name is not Johnson.
Oh, thank God.
Well,
Thank
done.
God I am no John's son.
All right, Pawan. You currently hold name number 20, the 20th most popular name in the US. All right. Now I'm going. Here's what's gonna happen.
Are you gonna
I'm gonna
offer me a
offer
deal?
you a different last name. Here's the reveal.
Mhm.
There are 3 names on the board. Either Lopez, Martinez, or Martin. One of those names is in your number. Number
Okay.
20. Come on, I want you to pick once more. 10 or 12.
Oh wait, you're not gonna give me an
Come on,
option.
pick 10 or 12. I'm
Wait,
making
I
up the
thought
rules on the spot.
we were gonna make a
Making
deal
up on
at
the
this point.
10 or 12. 10 or 12.
Let's go 12.
In number 12, the family name of Lopez.
So is
Lopez.
now the time when the banker comes in with the offer on what's in my case that I don't know? Okay.
Reminder, the 2 possible options are Martinez or what was the name of it? Who's the other one?
Martin or something?
Yes, Martin. Okay. Those are the 2 options left. Martinez or Martin. Martinez or Martin could be in number 20, which you chose.
Oh, but now, oh,
you hear that?
Are we getting a phone call?
Yes. Hello.
Can I talk to him?
Hey, I'm putting the mic up to the other mic. Please, Pawan, talk.
So what you got for me? What, you don't want to talk to me? How rude. You know what? Fine. Go ahead. Jeez. You know what? That is rather rude for someone who's about to make me an offer. Just let them know that, please.
All right. I got the offer.
All right.
Once more, the reminder, the 2 names left are Martinez and Martin. The offer placed for the last name that you have inside number 20. Banker is offering the last name of Martin Lawrence.
So Lawrence.
No, Martin Lawrence would be your family name.
That's
You wanna go?
enticing offer, but no deal. Let it ride.
Let it ride.
All right.
Oh,
let's see.
Another phone call.
Oh my God. That. Okay.
Banker. Uh-huh. Whoa. Are you sure? All right. We've done this once before.
Mhm.
Now, let me point out, we did this once before. The contestant, they accepted the deal
For this last name.
for this last name.
Okay.
A reminder, the 2 last names remaining,
Martinez
Martin
and Martin.
and Martinez. The banker is offering you the last name, the family name
Mhm.
of the entertainer.
See, that sounds fun and all at first glance, but that's a lot of pressure because, like, maybe you don't want to, maybe you don't feel like entertaining that day or something, but you're known as that. So, I some days I'm feeling lazy, some days I don't feel like entertaining. So I'm gonna say no deal.
Wow, no deal. That's it. The banker has no more moves. Juan,
All right.
a reminder, the two names are Martinez and Martin.
Okay.
You currently have number 20. Would
Mhm.
you like to trade number 20 for number 10, or do I stick with your number?
You know, I'm gonna stick with it.
You're gonna stick with your number. You're gonna stick with number 20. Number 10 is gone. Now I'm just curious, Juan, is there a preference of which family name you'd like to take?
I might prefer one, but we'll see which one we get.
Here's for one. I got another call. This isn't from the banker. This is from the super banker. I've never gotten this call before. Hello? Hello, ma'am. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Interesting choice. You sure? All right, I'll let them know. Right on.
Okay.
Final deal from the super banker. The two possibilities are Martinez and Martin. Super banker is offering you the family name of Meta.
Now that sounds about right. That does. I'm liking it. I'm loving it even. But I can't stop just yet.
Wow. What's your call?
We're
What's your
gonna let it
call?
ride. No deal.
All right, Pawan. It's not Perez. It's not Johnson. You turned down the names Martin Lawrence, the entertainer, and Meta. And inside number 20 is Martin. Congratulations, Pawan
Nah, I'm
Martin.
gonna throw that one out.
Congra-
I'm gonna grab Meta back up off the trash. I'm taking that one. Bye.
You learn from the best. You learn from Ray. That was our game today. See you next time. And welcome back. Welcome back to the show. What a wonderful ad. We learned so much about life there. And you know,
Life,
life,
who you are, who we are, who this is. Who
this
is
is
this?
us. This is us. Now, Pawan, I think this when you look at the sequel trilogy of the Star Wars movies, right? It's
Mhm.
fascinating.
Yes.
Because I personally, I do really believe Episode 8 is what you could do with a franchise film, and Episode 9 is what a franchise film could be like a little more pessimistically like that. I think 8 is the best you can do with a franchise, 9 is the worst you can do with a franchise.
Mhm.
And although you have these two ends, right? Two possibility, there's a range between. Neither possibility is perfect. Because Pawan, did you know this?
What?
Did you know
What do I
that
know? What do I know?
no movie is perfect?
I actually did know this week.
Well, you knew this already?
I remembered things. See,
Good
now
for
I have
you.
memories of past episodes. The
Oh
entire
my
lineage
God.
of this podcast is staring out at me.
Whoa, is that as a ghost behind you? Do you see it
No,
behind you too?
it's not behind me, it's in front
Oh.
of me. The past is ahead of
Oh.
me.
Thank you. So for now, I will for sure not try to edit something into this part of the video. Well,
Or it's ahead of me, which is behind you.
joking, Bond.
Are you okay?
Kylo Ren's first joking me.
You know
That's
what's
what I
a
can call
huge missed opportunity in this movie?
what?
Let's get into fixes. Let's fix this movie. Why
Alright.
doesn't he punch a wall? Why doesn't Kylo Ren punch a wall?
Great call. Great call.
Where's I don't have a semblance of his character in this movie as a continuation from the previous two. He doesn't punch walls.
On where would be the best part for him to punch a wall?
When his dad shows up.
When his dad shows up when there's no walls around them?
That's why he gets angry that he can't punch a wall. So he's really confronted with the truth in that moment. He can't let the anger go. He has
So
to
how does he
actually
punch a
face.
wall? How does he punch a wall if there's no wall for him to punch?
Okay, so maybe he looks at walls early on in the movie, but he's not feeling it at those moments. He's like, you know what? In case I need it, it's there. But then when it's not there is when he needs it the most, and that's what causes him to change.
Fascinating. That's one fix. Go on.
And I just came up with that right now. I didn't even have that in the docket.
You know what? It's as good as anything in this movie. Go on.
Another fix I had is that Lando conversation at the base at the end where he's like, "What's your family name? Let's find out." What he should do in that moment is he should hand her a business card,
Mhm.
and on it should say Star Wars Resistance members. What is their lineage? Do they know their lineage? Let's find out. And it's a sequel tease for that spin-off series of its own
Okay.
that's headlined by Lando Calrissian. As he goes about figuring out the lineage of all these people that he comes into contact with. All right.
Sure.
The next one. You know what? They needed the rate. If we're gonna bring back the entire 9 movies, we need to bring back more from episode 1. So of course, when they're running away from the things and they find out they have jetpacks, make them be in pod racers. Let's do it. And then at the end,
Of course.
maybe when Rey's chilling at the village, it's not Luke's village. It's Anakin's old village.
Oh, that was the village.
And then Fudd Sank, who never was in the movies, but was in the racing, in the pod racing game. And Sebulba come up is like, yo, I heard the story about what you did back there. I need to know, who are you? So that way we have that connection. It goes all the way from the beginning to the end right there. Boom. Ties the knot. And also, you know what? Maybe if Rey wants to claim Skywalker, you know what has to happen? Maybe while Kylo Ren is dying, Rey forces him into marriage so that she could take his last name.
Like there's no 2 witnesses. There's no witnesses.
She brings back Palpatine for like 5 seconds to be able to do that. Gives him just a little bit of life force.
I see. Interesting choice.
Because everyone knows great movies end with a big wedding.
That's how you know it's a comedy.
Exactly. A romantic movie even.
Oh, Juan, I know all about communism, communism.
Yeah. So
Watch Ted Lasso.
And you know what? When in the beginning of the movie, Kylo Ren moonwalking to murder someone, why don't we get more of that? You know, maybe Kylo Ren should be like that villain from Despicable Me 3 in this movie. If he's got to be different, yeah.
I see.
Like let him be goofy and dance around while he's murdering people. Let him just do it.
Is there a scene when he moonwalks and then punches a wall? The momentum of the moonwalk is put into the punch.
Oh, okay. Now the biggest change. So we've established that the Knights of Ren are just Kylo Ren's bros, right?
Sure.
Like with how they hang out on cliffs and just like stare off into the distance in formation. So like there's that big moment where he's fighting his old brethren. So before that, you don't remember that? I remember that.
Is that who he's fighting at the end?
Yes.
He's
fighting the Knights of Ren, which is really funny because like there's more weight to the fight in the throne room against just Snoke's guards than the
Yep.
Knights of Ren.
Yep. Yep.
So to give that weight, we need to have like some of the knights take off their helmets and be like, Kylo, bro, you changed. What the fuck happened, bro? You're not the same,
Whoa.
man.
Whoa.
And then it's like they got to try to beat some sense into him. But Kylo's like, nah, bro, I'm not a simp. I'm not a simp. Because like the Knights of Ren is like, bro, you know, bros before hoes. What happened to that, man? What happened to our brotherhood? And then Kylo's like, no, man, she's different, man. She's different. And then the Knights are like, bro, it's either her or us. And then Kylo's like, I guess it's her then. And then one of them has the nerve, just in hushed tones. You just see it's a close up on the lips. Simp. And that causes Kylo to feel that rage, like he's about to punch a wall once again. But at this point, he has learned. He has learned to let that anger go, because that is not what's serving him.
Wow.
And that's what it takes to defeat the Knights of Ren and move past his old ways.
You know, Pawan, in 2019, Laura Dern was in both Marriage Story and Little Women. She's great in both, wins an Oscar for Marriage Story.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the second great performance based off what you added for Adam Driver to then have him win for Marriage Story. This will support the Marriage Story narrative of giving Adam Driver his Oscar. This simp scene, the simp scene will lead him to the gold. And you know what? We'll go Joaquin away without a trophy.
Ooh, got him. Ooh, got him.
Thank you for giving Adam Driver his Oscar with that simp scene.
All right. So we saw how I could help Adam Driver in his accomplishments. But what about you? What do you have to fix this movie?
All right. First off, Chewie dies.
When
the ship explodes. Because let's be honest, Chewie does jack shit in this movie.
Wait. Can I add something?
Oh, I like additions. Go on.
Maybe he doesn't die in that ship. But like during that scene where they're like, oh no, Chewie's alive, don't worry about it. He just grabs a blaster and just shoots him right there. And that's when he dies.
Here's what happens. Ship explodes. Chewie jumps out with a parachute. And Chewie's holding the parachute, trying to open it. Chewie can't open the parachute. Oh no. Splat on the ground. Chewie dead. Number one. Number two. You mentioned
because I still want to keep that scene where they're just like, don't worry, Chewie's alive. Maybe he tries to do it from that spaceship, not realizing they're already in space.
And he doesn't have a thing for the air.
Yeah.
Which when Finn goes to grab Rey after she finds out she's a Palpatine, Finn has one of those masks, but Rey doesn't.
Rey
How does that
the
work?
Force.
Finn could use the Force.
There's that other thing we didn't talk about at all. Rey, I gotta tell you something. What did he have to say? You know, there was a
he forgot as soon as there was another lady.
There was like a Comic-Con or some like conference like that where JJ was doing a Q&A, and someone asked him like, what did what did Finn have to say to Rey? Like what was that? And he came up on the spot, was like he was gonna say that he can use the Force too. Not, it's totally not that he was gonna say I love you, Rey, or anything like that.
I thought that was confirmed that was what he was gonna say.
Come on.
I could have sworn I read someone confirm that was what he was gonna say.
That might be what they're saying now, that they see how everything backfired on them, but like,
no, I could have sworn they said that they were gonna say that he loved Rey.
Oh yeah, that.
I thought that was confirmed, but I don't fucking know.
During a Q&A session, JJ said he can use the Force too.
But you know what, Pawan? I think we gotta look this up. We're gonna put a pause on our fixes, and I'm gonna share my screen. If I can figure out how to do that. Share screen. You tap. And then I'm gonna click on this. So what was Finn gonna say in episode 9? All right, it's an important question. I know.
He was gonna say Ray.
Let's see what Cinema Blend says. I'm talking about topic comes that Faye won't.
I told you that's what he said during the Q&A.
He never says if something happens to the direction.
Yeah, he's force sensitive. That's what he was gonna say, and that's why he's embarrassed about it when confronted with it by Poe for some reason.
Why would he be embarrassed by it?
Because he doesn't have the full force. He's limp with the force.
So fucking dumb.
Obviously, that was not the initial intent.
Wait. Finn himself, aka John Boyega, helpfully tweeted days after the screening that no, Finn wasn't. Oh wait, wasn't. Finn was gonna say, "Ray, I'm Batman." Wow, what a dumb fucking movie.
I told you. Like they didn't even fully think out what was going on with their own shit.
The director never really answered the question and kept it rather vague. What do you think? Abrams asked in response to the question. He then went on to offer his own interpretation, which was that Finn wanted Ray to know he was force sensitive. And there you have it. It's important to note that an interpretation is not necessarily a confirmation. JJ phrased his answer in a way where it could mean different things to different people.
Usually when people talk about, you could have a different interpretation as to what this means. It's not about what actually happens in the movie itself. It's about what the thing that happens actually means.
Oh no, there's an argument of the ending of Lost in Translation.
Sure, but like what's more important about that is what those different interpretations mean. And that's why it's kept vague. This one, it doesn't really add anything.
In one world, it means he's in love with Ray. In another world, it means that he's in love with Ray and is force sensitive.
But what does that add to? It adds nothing.
My next fix.
Go. We're back.
You brought up one of the Lando scenes. I'm gonna bring up the scene when Lando is suddenly on the planet where the resistance is held up, and he talks to Poe. Is right after, I believe, is right after the Han Solo scene and the Luke Skywalker scenes. And so at the end of his conversation with Poe, it's revealed that Lando is also a ghost. Lando's been dead the whole time.
He's also force sensitive, but didn't want to tell anyone.
Next up, I mentioned that this is probably my least favorite movie since a Transformer. And so I want to call out, I will play a card that one of the Transformer movies made.
Dinosaurs?
No, I wish. In Dark of the Moon, Alan Tudyk is like, hey, I'm basically playing this character I played in another movie I did in the past. And so every actor, they're not playing their characters from episode 7 and 8 anymore. So let's have them do other old characters they did. So John Boyega is going to
block.
Yes, he's playing Moses from Attack the Block as Finn. Oscar Isaac and Domhnall Gleeson are reprising the roles as Caleb Smith and Nathan Bateman from Ex Machina. Daisy Ridley is reprising her role of Cottontail Rabbit from Peter Rabbit. And for the first half of the film, Adam Driver is reprising his role as Al Cody from Inside Llewyn Davis. But then when he turns good, he turns into Clyde Logan from Logan Lucky. Obviously.
I mean, you can't have too direct of a thing because yes, he punches walls. So like, you can't have Marriage Story in there. That's too.
Well, you
That's
know,
too close.
Marriage Story, he wouldn't have done yet. Marriage Story comes out like a month before this movie. He
Well,
wouldn't have done it
maybe
yet.
he was just like,
He
you
didn't.
know what? Let me kill two birds with one stone. Let me prep two characters by making them the same character.
Fair point. Fair point. We're going with Inside Llewyn Davis and Logan Lucky. Yes, when I came up with that, did I realize Oscar Isaac is also in Inside Llewyn Davis? Yes, I realized that. However, I need to rewatch that movie. Next fix. It's the scene where Oscar Isaac. What are you doing?
Outer space.
Outer. I have that song on my Spotify, and I love when it pops up. It's like a live version. It's a lot of fun. Look up, please, Mr. Kennedy from the Coen Brothers film Inside Llewyn Davis. Did you see
Just
the trailer?
watch that movie. It's a
I
great
gotta
movie.
rewatch it.
It's
I gotta rewatch it.
it's one I hold near and dear.
Did you see the trailer for one of the Coens is Macbeth? Came out
Whoa,
today.
you can't say that.
Are we in a theater?
We are doing a live performance
Sorry.
for ourselves right now. How dare you?
Sorry.
You have cursed this podcast.
What is the thing you do to get rid of the curse? There's a
I don't
thing to
know.
do.
I don't
Oh my
know.
goodness. Oh my goodness. Do I have to kill the baby without a mother? I forget what happens to Macbeth.
Isn't it someone like run around the stage a couple times or something?
Oh
Go
my
run
God.
around your camera. A couple
My
times.
final. Oh my God. Oh, that hurt my neck. My final fix. Poe is in his ship shooting stuff, and he's like, "Oh no, all my people are dead. We're gonna lose. I'm sad. Oh no, what to do? We tried, but we couldn't. We overestimated ourselves." And then sad music. John Williams has some sad music going on. And then you see the captions say "on your left," but no one says "on your left." Instead, you hear this sound. That's when I inserted the sound. You'll get in that post point time, so you're not gonna get it, but the podcast listeners will. You hear this sound.
Bada bing.
Poe looks to his left, and there's not one, there's not two, there's not three, but millions of porgs are flying through the sky to save the day. Thus, the porgs help to save the day. And these porgs, they're fucking carrying Ewoks from their feet. Like an owl. They grabbed on the Ewoks and
Like an
they're flying
owl?
the Ewok.
Like an owl?
owls.
Owls are not big. Maybe a hawk. Do you know how big owls are? Like they don't have.
As I said it, I knew I was wrong. My brain said owl. Like an owl, they grab onto the Ewoks.
You know what? We
carrying
can
the
make sense
Ewoks
of
by
this.
the
It's
shoulders.
nighttime. It's like
Yeah,
3
it's
a.m.
nighttime. Oh, this movie's so dark. The movie only takes place at nighttime. So they're carrying the Ewoks. Each Ewok has their own blaster, and they're killing people left and right. Thus, the Porgs and Ewoks save the day. That is how we fix this movie. Juan, this was a tough one, but I think we made some valiant efforts, and we tried our best.
Now I think we got to do another segment.
Wait, there's more?
We need to figure out the chronological order of these movies.
What? I was not prepared for this. Juan, you started off. How are we doing this?
Much like the Frozen cinematic universe, there are a lot of Star Wars stories.
Oh my God, I was not expecting this segment. Okay, let's start it off. Which films are you looking at?
We're looking at all the movies. And
so please recap them for those who don't know.
We got 1 through 9.
Okay.
We got Solo. We got the Rogue 1. We got the Clone Wars. Mandalorian. Let's throw that in there.
Season 1 and season 2.
Um, you know what? Let's throw in Rebels while we're at it. I don't know. Do you know any other Star Wars properties?
Oh, Bad Batch. Bad Batch just came out.
Yeah, there's that.
The Christmas special.
There was that. There were those shorts, those Star Wars shorts that were made for like to sell the dolls.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I gotta look this up. Vamp for a bit.
Lego Star Wars, obviously. As well as a Lego Star Wars Christmas special. Not a great Christmas special, I'll be honest. Lego Star Wars Christmas special. Very disappointing. Very sad. Very short, though. I'd rather watch that than Rise of Skywalker. That's only about 40 minutes compared to the 2-hour, 20-minute runtime of Rise of Skywalker. That's a lot of Skywalker. Too much Skywalker, some may say. I feel like there's something else we're missing. But I think that's it.
No, there's what was the name of that short?
There's the other Clone Wars.
Yeah, the TV show.
The Samurai Jack dudes. Isn't it him who did the 2D animated Clone Wars? There's two Clone Wars shows, the Clone Wars and the Clone Wars.
Oh, I did not know that.
All right, Pawn, let's hurry this up.
Forces of Destiny. That was the name. Yes.
Okay. Which one's that?
That was it's a collection of shorts that were meant to sell the dolls that look like Barbies.
Sure. All right, Pawan. You have the answers. Which comes first?
I have the answers?
Yeah, you have
I think we got to go back and forth.
Okay.
I think one comes first.
Okay. Okay. Now hold on. Is that episode 1? Is that Rogue One, Mandalorian season 1, or all three? I think all three at once, right?
Sure. Yeah. Just they much like the Gundam universe, this one has a nexus point that has all of it just bunched up into one. Maness.
/ Rogue One / Mandalorian season 1. So that comes first.
Okay. And then I think the second movie was called Attack of the Clones. So you got the Clone Wars.
All the clones.
Yeah.
So the second chronologically is Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones.
Yeah. Adzga. Man, you know how to type.
Attack of the Clones. I have stuff on my keyboard that's in the way. The Clone Wars. And point, we forgot in point 1. What's the name of that board game you own?
Epic Duels. No. That's not with that. That's not with that. No.
Oh my god. All right, let's put it on the other list. Actually, let's not put it on the other list. Okay, what's the third in the timeline?
Okay. I think
episode 9.
Yeah, sure. Throw it in there. Episode 9. Right. You know what? We got to throw in Solo with that. No,
Solo is obviously a lot after.
No, but like 9. This is the family name arc.
Oh.
Yeah.
So Solo 3.5?
Sure. 3.5. 3.5.
I think number 4, it's the original trilogy.
Okay. And then after that, I think we get Forces of Destiny and Epic Duels. That's 5. Yeah.
Sixth is
I think here is
the
where
li-
we get the Bad Batch.
this is the Bad Batch.
This is the
I
Bad
thought
Batch.
no, Bad Batch also takes place at the same time as the original Star Wars Christmas special. Yes,
We forgot about the. Oh, you wrote the
I have
Christmas
it
special.
there.
Okay,
I
okay,
have
okay.
both
My
Christmas
bad. My
specials.
bad. Both. Ah, yes, yes, yes.
All right, seventh. Seventh is obviously Lego Star Wars.
Yeah, yeah. Um, 8 is Let's
Episode
go
7.
with. Wait. No, I gotta look at this list closely. I gotta make sure we're on the money with this one.
My understanding is it's either Episode 7 or it is Lego Star Wars Christmas special. Oh, I'm
I
sorry. Did we forget Rebels?
We did forget Rebels. But that's here
Is it, 8 is Rebels.
with episode 3.
I thought Episode 3 is the final one.
No,
No.
no. And
Okay.
here's also where we get the Christmas special. The Lego Christmas special.
And oh wait, and Episode 8. The Episodes 3 and 8 happen at the same time, right?
Yeah. What do we have left? What's missing?
We're missing Episode 7.
That's number 9. That's number 9.
I
By
think
itself.
that's it.
That's by itself.
Oh, and Mandalorian season 2, which came
Oh,
first?
right.
Mando
Mandalorian season 2 is
episode?
before 1. That's number 0. That's the precursor to everything.
Ooh, okay. I get this now. 0. Season. I wonder how listeners of the podcast.
No, season
understand this.
2. Season 2.
I apologize.
That's season 2.
And I believe it all ends with Episode 7. Yes.
Yeah. Please.
All right, Pawan. Before we read a really long list, let's read this still long but shorter than the other list.
All right.
So if you want to watch it in chronological order, this is what you do. All right. Start off with the 0th story, Mandalorian season 2.
And then if you want to watch it in chronological order, you have to have all of these playing on different screens at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have Star Wars Episode 1, Rojue 1, and Mandalorian season 1 all playing on multiple screens. Now, you will note that some of those are longer than others. What that means is you have to replay the other ones until it matches the length of the longest one.
Loop. Yeah, you're only done when all 3 end at the same moment in sync. Okay. So you have to loop all of them multiple times. Khan's allergic to science, but this is science right here. All right. After that, again, you gotta watch Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, the Clone Wars, and the Clone Wars all at the same time.
And that's including,
and
that's talking about every season of the Clone Wars.
Yeah, all 7 seasons.
Yes.
I think 7. And from there you do Episode 9, Rise of Skywalker. And then Solo Star Wars story.
I think we made a mistake. I feel like Episode 9 should have been the only one you're supposed to watch by itself.
It is. Oh, I see what you're saying. No, it is. I guess Mandalorian season 2. And you know what?
Except for Mandalorian season 2. That stands separate from everything else.
Well, Pawan, who cares? After Episode 9, you have to watch Solo Star Wars story.
But that one you start that one halfway through
Episode 9. So when Han Solo shows up in Episode 9, you're like, who is this Han Solo? You throw on the Solo Star Wars story. Now, this is a tricky one. You watch the original trilogy all at once. Again, until they end simultaneously. Then you watch Force of Destiny whilst playing epic duels.
And
am I incorrect?
No, you're completely correct. And of course, you have to have the characters match up with what's happening on screen.
And of course, you got to play multiple times until you play each character.
Right. And that's a lot because Force of Destiny, there's characters from all over the Star Wars canon. So
some assembly may be required.
Yeah. And then 6th, you gotta watch the Bad Batch and the Christmas special at the same time, same way as previously mentioned. 7th is Lego
Then,
Star Wars. You gotta play all the games at once.
yes, this is where it's tricky. For the final Lego Star Wars, not out yet. It's impossible to go through the entire Star Wars timeline, but you can't move on until you play the Skywalker
Which
saga.
is
I
a
think is the
shame
name of the
because you
new one.
can't enjoy Rebels Episode 3, Lego Christmas Special, and Episode 8.
At the same time.
You can't enjoy that yet because Lego Star Wars isn't done yet. And you can't enjoy Episode 7 either because that's
Well,
9th.
what can you do? That's the order you have to experience this if you want to experience it correctly.
Right.
Now, Pawan, we all know about doing things correctly.
Mhm.
For we are not people of thought, of imagination. We are people of science and facts.
Mhm.
Facts.
Mhm.
Facts.
Mhm.
Science.
Mhm.
Science.
Mhm.
Science. A little Schwarzenegger right there. Pawan, it's time to rank Rise of Skywalker on the list of billion-dollar movie club movies. I forgot to pull up this tab. Oh no.
You were too wrapped up in the watch order of Star Wars.
I guess I was. Let's do this.
Getting a little behind the scenes look for our visual podcasters.
All right, Pawan.
Actually, we don't have a name for our fan base yet. What's going on?
Hold on, that's a season 2 spoiler there. Hold on. All right. Hold on. Save it for season 2. Pawan, this is the list of movies.
All right.
As we do every week, it's time to flip the coin.
Heads.
Pawan is calling heads. Will the coin rise and land on heads? It lands.
Or will it rise
on...
and land on tails? Which is
Tails.
what it did.
And land on tails. Wow.
All right.
What was last week's movie?
Frozen 2. That was the one. So, Miss Simpson, is this movie factually, not in your opinion, we're talking about facts, is it better or worse than Frozen 2?
Worse.
I did not see that coming. All right. I guess it's 18.
No, Pawan. No, Pawan. There's
Or
one
is
more
it?
question you must ask. There's one more question you must ask.
Is it better or worse or online with Finding Dory?
According to science, it's better than Finding Dory. Now you're gonna say Titanic. It's better than Finding Dory. And so I hit random instead of random. Time to enter the calculation.
We have a min of 1.8 and a max of 8.1 in reverse.
It's not letting me type INREV, but I think. Oh yeah, I did type the number E. All right, let's hit the number. Hold on. There's no power. I need your force powers to give the electricity needed to make this work. Yeah, show it to your hands. You gotta show it to your hands.
It's 18.
Number 18.
I'll be honest, I don't know if I agree with how you're reading the stars on this one. Because, like, honestly, I think factually it might have been our number 0 if there was a space for it. It's just that good. It's better than Skyfall factually. It gave the annoying fan base what it wanted. So, of course, it's got to be great. And that's why it's better than Titanic.
I think I misspelled episode 8 when we did episode 8. I'm going to fix that right now. Fix that. And so V, I. And I don't have these naming conventions of Star Wars movies.
Yeah, you just didn't do it for this new trilogy. That's why I thought it was fine.
Because it's so confusing. We're almost done with the list.
All right.
I think it's time to recap this list.
Number 47, Pirates Force.
At number 46, Alice in Wonderland.
At number
Johnny Depp really is in the bottom 2 movies on this list.
Yeah, like Johnny Depp just does not have a good track record factually with billion-dollar movies.
I think he had to walk for the other movies to run.
Number 45, we have Miss Simpson's favorite movie in history. It's just factually shit, apparently. Toy Story 3.
Number 44, we have a piece of shit Best Picture nominee, Avatar.
Number 43. I thought this movie was great. I thought you did too, but like
Sometimes it's hard to understand
Spider-Man Far From Home. It's just shit.
Number 42. The list wasn't ready for Will Smith. Aladdin 2019.
Number 41, Transformers Bark at the Moon.
Number 40, Avengers Age of Ultron.
Number 39, Laughing, Dancing, Prancer, Donner, Cupid, Donner, Blitzen. Despicable Me. 3.
38, Transformers Age of Extinction.
37, Tentacle Man shows up for Pirates.
Is that the first one with him?
Yeah. He wasn't in one.
Right. Number 36, Captain Marvel.
35, Captain America Civil War. Wow. You know what? This list is I guess the facts are sexist.
I thought we just don't like captains.
I mean, sure, but like the male captain is put at a higher place than the female captain. It's pretty sexist if you ask me. These numbers are messed up. All right. What's 34? We have
Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Number 33, we have The First Rise with The Dark Knight. Getting up. It's an early
32,
morning.
32, Dark Knight. Stationary.
31, Carvel's Marvel's The Avengers. What, you telling me this movie wasn't made by an ice cream company?
Wait, I thought it was the Marvelous Mrs. Avengers. Is it Marvel's The Avengers?
Yeah.
Wow. Number 30, Minions.
29, coming back at it with the 4 numbers comes Lion King. This is low if you ask me. It has the 4 numbers and everything.
You don't even tell them what the numbers are?
Nah.
What a tease. Number 28, The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey.
27, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, Episode 8.
26, Jurassic Park.
25, Iron Man 3.
24, Frozen.
23, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
22, Jurassic World.
It's an upright kingdom.
It's fascinating. Both the Dark Knights and the Jurassic Worlds are back to back.
We did a lot of those. 2 captains are back to back.
Sure.
21, tied for 21. We have Finding Dory, Us, Spider-Man 3, Crazy Rich Asians, How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Number 20, Beauty and the Beast, 2017.
Number 19, we have Titanic, the start of it all, the harbinger of the wreck that we call this podcast.
And obviously better than Titanic is number 18, Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker.
Obviously better than all of that. It's Toy Story 4. It's not 4 numbers. It's just 4.
It's 4 number, not 4 numbers. Number 16, Frozen 2.
And number 15, we got a couple jokers in the audience for this one. It's a joke.
Number 14.
Our review of that was highly criticized by our fan base, which maybe we'll get into at a later date.
Well, Pawan, the question is, do we listen to our fans and play to them like Rise of Skywalker? We'll find out. Number 14, Incredibles 2.
At number 13, you know what? This one, it was close. It was close with the VII, but that's only 3 numbers. Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. That's why it's not the best. Only had the 3 numbers.
Number 11, Zootopia.
Number 10, Avengers Endgame.
Number 9, Black Panther.
Number 8, Avengers Infinity War.
Number 7, Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
Number 6. You want to know why this is so high? Because it had four numbers of 8. The 8 of the Furious.
Number 5, Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi.
See, this is the highest Star Wars because it had the 4 numbers. VIII.
Sure.
That's 4 right there.
My favorite number is VI.
Yeah. Number 4, we have Waterman, Waterboy. And I ain't talking Adam Sandler.
I want to see Jason Momoa in a remake of The Waterboy. Number 3, The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King.
Number 2, Furious 7. See, the reason why it's number 2 is because it didn't go for the full set of 2 4 numbers. So it wasn't perfect. It has
Number
like
1
one
is
and it's
Skyfall.
almost a full other set of 4 numbers, but it was only 3 for that second set. So it couldn't be number 1.
Number 1 is Skyfall. Come on, we have 1 movie left and 1 slot left.
I wonder what it's gonna be.
Do you think Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone could be number 12?
No, I don't. I don't think it's factually possible.
We'll find out.
But before that, I'd like to address something. If you'd like to leave comments on what you thought of our conversation about Rise of Skywalker, let us know in an email or in the comments down below. We'll read it next week. And if you decide, like one intrepid reviewer, to double down on your comments from an episode we did that wasn't from the exact previous week, we're going to save those for the moment. We're going to save it for the season finale, which is coming at you in 2 weeks. So if you want to talk about the podcast as a whole, or talk about an older episode, or like something in between, leave us an email about it.
Well, I'm a co-host. I'm very confused as to what you just said. I should probably check the emails.
What I'm saying is, if you'd like to talk about,
Juan, I'm sorry. I always ignore your emails. I'll check them one of these days.
Hit us up at billiondollarmovieclub@gmail.com.
Yeah,
for
send
your
an email there,
thoughts
or
overall.
send an email to the email address, or like us and comment on the Facebooks, the Instagrams, the Twitters, on the YouTube. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Spotify.
Yes.
Spotify, the listening service from Sporticus himself. Shout outs to Lazy Town. Love you, Lazy Town. Start of a brand new day. Things are upside down here in Lazy Town. Adventure is just something in a way. Shout out to Max Lismacchio. The lovely art you saw at the top of this podcast or on your streaming service. Once again, next week we're discussing Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
The one that started it all, ends it all.
Or perhaps you best know it as Harry Potter and
the Philosopher's Stone. Or perhaps you know it as J.K. Rowling's ascent into stardom.
We'll talk about that movie.
Or perhaps you know it
HBO
as
Max.
The childhood of many a millennials.
Join us next week to find out if Pawan stands on their soapbox once more.
Or will the happen? Nay.
Thank you for joining us, and catch us next week.
Fuck you. I know you're thinking about putting this at the end, but I hate you. I hate you, Miss Simpson. I want you to know that. I want you to know that. I want you to feel that.